Look at this. Mickey Kerbishley. It feels like royalty. I always invite you, but you never come.
Where is he?
I'm actually in Chicago.
Right under you on my screen.
I just arrived at the hotel in Chicago, so I'm here. Hey guys, so nice to see everybody.
Is it red?
Huh?
Is it red?
It's still broad daylight out there, so God knows what color it is. But it looks grey, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Hello, Kerbishley. How are you?
Yeah, really good. I was in Vegas 2 nights ago. We went. I drove out there to light our building red, and had a barbecue with the guys there, and then I came to Chicago, and I'm here today for a couple of days. So great to see everybody. I mean, really good to see your faces. Yeah.
Respect my pardon my ignorance. What company, if you don't mind? I'm not familiar.
I am a Solotech.
Solotech. Excellent.
This week.
Oh, Jesus, Robert.
I'll something. I found out.
I love you, Kerbishley. I'm just playing with you, you know.
I found out something the other day that Solotech is a mistake. It was actually supposed to be called Sonotech, S-O-N-O, so something to do with audio. And when they filed the name, they just put the wrong letter in there.
So you mean N and L were a typo?
Yeah, basically. So it's so I shouldn't be there anyway because I'm a lighting guy. And apparently they're an audio company, but
well,
yeah.
We bought the web address, so we got to go with it.
Exactly.
That's quite funny.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Marcia.
Oh, hold on. Empire State Building getting in the way.
Mickey's going to go try and break the minibar now and see if he can get a drink out of it.
Half his suitcase is the minibar.
Yeah. Wow. I guess we're probably going to get a bunch of people today, I'm guessing. It should be fun.
So we do need to teach Christian Jackson who Cosmo Wilson is, because apparently he called him not Cosmo last night.
What did he call him?
Like Conan or Connor, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty damn funny.
I think it's.
I mean, he's like 12 years old. What do you expect?
I was like, Christian, hey, say hi to Cosmo Wilson, you know, AC/DC and Aerosmith's lighting designer. He's like, hi, Connor.
All you guys need to give Christian Jackson a pass. That dude did great.
Did
Yeah, really.
Being in front of it.
Also, he's young as shit. Like he's like 25, 26.
Yeah.
But
he did an amazing job. He
was
really
fantastic. He rolled with the technical punches. He did a really great job.
Dude, trust me, I'm aware of how challenging it was because I was the guy teeing up all his calls and trying to, like, I'm calling people on their cell phone going, get in the Zoom thing, hurry up, get in the Zoom thing. And it was just a nightmare. I mean, I would never use Zoom again in the way we tried to use it last night, put it that way.
It worked.
Yeah, I mean, it worked.
Hey,
well.
how long do we have to upload all the high res images? Because we're still filtering through stuff that's coming in.
Me too.
Well, as far as all the images, there's no time limit. We're just, Brad put something out for getting the ones that he needed tonight. So there was some that he needed tonight, and you can check with Brad on those ones.
All right. Do you want stills or do you want, we've got
stills.
some great drone
shots.
shots.
Stills. It's for going out to congressmen. It's going out to a bunch of Congress people.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's good information to have.
Yeah. So for the 11,000 photos you have, just pick the 3 best ones you know.
I haven't even seen them all. There's ones I can't even download yet. I just got drone shots of the Space Needle.
Nice.
Yeah. So Joe, tell us how cool was it that the Space Needle said no, and then last night all of a sudden it's glowing red.
Well, I wouldn't use the words glowing red in the same sense. I think that the Space Needle decided to do it themselves, not tell anyone. So they went and bought gel. And I don't think anyone at the sales counter was telling them they needed to double up the gel.
Yeah.
So
it was
the way we like to
pinkish.
say it is they didn't consult a professional. They tried to go red and they ended up getting breast cancer.
Yep.
So all the images we've seen are kind of this like, you know, if you balance the color right in the camera shot, you can tell it's red, but other than that, it looks kind of salmony.
Listen,
kind of a
Joe,
feeble-
you make fun of me for saying it 1.5 million times in the chat. But
Right?
So one of the things I want to go through quick, and it's going to be boring for some of the people on this call who were on the one a couple of hours ago. But I wanted to cover some stuff that our social media queen, Sharon, covered with us. I just got off the phone with a lady in my lawyer's office named Shannon. So Sharon is our social media person who was a volunteer, of course, just like the rest of us. And it was a funny thing because she thought she was walking into a situation where, you know, it was a little charity thing where I'm going to post a few things a day and it'll be no big deal. And I just want to give you some stats from yesterday, from one day. So yesterday alone on Facebook only, we had 25,319 page views. We had 4,913 likes. People like our page just in one day. We had a reach yesterday, meaning posts got out to 834,859 people, almost 1 million people. And we had engagement, meaning people clicked like or forward or share or whatever, of 140,730. This is in one day on one platform, Facebook. Facebook Live, the video that we did last night, or the live stream that we did last night, on video so far, because it's now available on video. Total minutes viewed, 203,608 minutes. Peak views at any single time on Facebook. Actually, that's the Facebook Live. That's not the video. That's the Facebook Live. Peak views at any single time was 1,444, but that's plus about 900 and something on YouTube. So it was around 2,500 at peak. And total people engaged on watching it was 18,299. Twitter yesterday, one day on Twitter, which was our weakest platform, was 19,145 impressions, meaning people saw Twitter posts of ours yesterday, 19,000 people. Instagram in 7 days, the last 1 week. And again, Instagram, we weren't focused near as much on Instagram as we were on Facebook. But in the last 7 days, 329,407 views, 24,300 different people reached, 6,192 followers added just in the last 7 days, and 20,834 likes on photos. So overall, I think Facebook right now is around 2 million reached and around 350,000 engagements. It's insane. You know, I own an e-commerce company, and I'm super jealous of these numbers because they're just completely crazy. So one of the things I definitely wanted to have a cheers, because it's actually our 3-week anniversary of even conceiving this idea. So we came up with this idea 3 weeks ago on this call after our crazy half Jamaican British friend, Steve Warren, was telling us about what happened in the UK. So, I mean, cheers for, you know, 3 crazy, retarded, ridiculous, wonderful, amazing weeks.
hey, listen, Marcel,
Well done.
retarded.
Cheers.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean, the reason I'm sharing that information isn't to impress anybody, but just to give everybody a full realization. Like, I have no idea how many buildings we ended up lighting. Our goal was a cocky goal, and it was only because Steve Warren said that they did 715 buildings. So as soon as Steve hung up, I went, fuck that guy. We can do at least double that, at least double what he did. If Steve could do 700, we could do 1,500, right?
It wasn't me. I just happened to want to mention it, obviously, but I have to say, Marcel, I've been watching it all day, you know, because I stayed up a little bit last night, but we're watching the record of the live stream today and all the stuff on Facebook, and it's just incredible. I mean, you guys must be so proud. Everybody, everyone is
beyond proud. I mean, we're shocked.
Yeah, you know, hats off.
Variety said 2,500 buildings in Variety.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they would know, but you know, we have actual recorded as far as people sent us their information. I believe it's at or over 2,000 now, and there's still about 400 more on a Google form that we sent out to people. And then I'm seeing like, is Norm Schwab here?
The official number that I have, Marcel, this is Brad. The official number that I have is 2,088 is all of the entries that we had based on what the participation list said, plus what came in on the form that I hadn't added. Okay. But that doesn't account for any of the unknowns that didn't get put into the form. So I think 2,500 is probably about right.
Yes, so Norm was telling us, Norm Schwab from Light Switch in San Francisco was telling us earlier that he sent a helicopter up to do a bunch of footage of, you know, stuff. And he had told the helicopter pilot, yeah, we have like, I forget what the numbers were, but we have 100 buildings lit or whatever. And they went up in the helicopter and it was like hundreds of them. They were everywhere, red lighted buildings, you know, stuff that they just didn't know about, that people were just going nuts lighting houses and buildings and restaurants and warehouses and whatever. So, you know, again, there's the reported number of just over 2,000, but it's got to be 3,500. I mean, it's got to be 3,500 places that were lit. But I mean, it doesn't even matter, because when you look at the list and you see, you know, the Empire State Building, Madison Square Garden, all of these stadiums. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't even know how many football stadiums we had, but it had to be 20. You know, it's just it's nutty. And then the PSAs, like that was one of the things that you guys struggled with in England, was to get stars to do videos. And I know you got Peter Gabriel, which was amazing, but you know, we have some that I didn't even know we had. Like this morning, I woke up and saw that Tenacious D Jack Black one, and I was blown away. I was like, what? Jack Black did one? And yeah, so I mean,
if I just put out a statement, I mean, I have to say, that's one of the things that really blew me away, you know, apart from what was happening with all the buildings, the fact that your artists have really got behind you. And, you know, and that's going to be a huge help for us. I was really glad to see Gary White here, because Gary's just done such amazing work sort of leading the team. Yeah. And the fact that it has gone global now, you know, is just hugely important, because, you know, you can't just sweep it under the carpet or ignore it if it becomes a worldwide thing. And there's so many countries now wanting to get involved.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sensational.
Yeah. So, you know, one of the other funny things was that our original goal was 1,500 buildings in North America. And I don't know if there's any, I mean, I know there's some Canadians on here, but we had Canada involved as part of North America, of course, but then we ran into a roadblock because Canada, number one, had a little bit of trouble with our messaging, because it didn't carry into Canada. They don't have, you know, the Restart Act in Canada. So we were promoting an American thing that didn't happen in Canada. And Canada is a very proud country, and certainly no country wants to be sort of swept under the carpet and you know, forgotten or whatever. But the other thing was that there was sort of a rival entry in Canada that already had a date planned for something that they were doing September 22nd. And so at the end of the day, it was just easier to back off and say, you know, we'll support your September 22nd date as much as we can from here without, you know, going out and lighting buildings, obviously. But, you know, go on your own. So we peeled off Canada, but we never changed the numbers. So it was still 1,500, but now it was only in the US. And so, you know, I'm not patting my own back. I'm just patting the backs of the estimate. I think we estimated somewhere around 7,000 to 10,000 people were involved in this thing last night. And it could be more. I don't know. So just tremendous. I mean, tremendous. And everybody, I'm looking at all the people, you know, on my screen right now. And so many of you are the same people that were on my screen earlier today, or, you know, 2 days ago or 5 days ago, when we have all these meetings to discuss what we're doing. And, you know, some of you that I saw on the live stream last night. Just really cool. Super cool.
Marcel,
Anybody got any funny
Gary
stories
might-
to share about last night?
Gary might be able to make a comment on it, but something I sort of noticed here in the UK was that all of the sort of, it took a while for like the news to filter out there, you know, for the next days we had, you know, stories kept coming up, which sort of kept the thing on the agenda, you know, for much longer than I expected. And I say Gary sort of, you know, knows more about that than I do, but it seemed like it, you know, it took a while for the different news channels to pick it up and then post it and
I don't know how many hundreds of news channels and newspapers and stuff we had yesterday. I mean, we didn't strike very well with the national media, CNN, Fox News, CNBC, etc. We didn't get a lot of support from them, certainly. And I think that had everything to do with how rushed this whole thing was, how quickly it happened, and the fact that we didn't go out and enlist some big national PR firm or whatever. It was all very organic, very grassroots. And so we got a lot of help from PR people, especially local ones. Like, you know, we have a very good person in New York, and we had a few of them working with us, but we got very good coverage. And there's a lot of people on here who I've seen, you know, all kinds of, you know, television reels of them being interviewed yesterday.
and
Corey's here somewhere. Corey was doing the Ricky Bobby, you know, thing with his hands, which was kind of funny.
So Marcel,
Help me, Tom Cruise!
would Gary be able to comment on how it worked with the press afterwards? Because we, you know, I felt the same. I had to say I felt the same after our night, that the major mainstream press, you know, the Times or BBC or what have you, just didn't jump on it the way I thought they would, and I was quite disappointed in that. However, I think in the days that followed, they then sort of almost like maybe, you know, almost like felt embarrassed that they'd missed something, you know, because they were out there, and then the stories
I mean, again, Steve, I don't know that I would say I'm disappointed. Like, you know, for example, every day Google sends me these Google alerts on Red Alert Restart. And I just got one, and it's got the San Francisco Chronicle, Cincinnati City Beat, KCAU in Sioux City, Iowa, Worcester Telegram, Fox 35 Orlando, KTRK TV, Fox 5 Las Vegas, I mean, these are all today, WNYT, Hawaii News Now. I mean, just a long list of media. So I can't say we're disappointed that we didn't get any media. We had guys.
It's the wrong word. I just think you'll be pleasantly surprised with
hell yeah,
other mainstream news channels then picking it up.
Yeah.
This,
I mean,
make a story out of it. Yeah.
You know, I was hearing earlier some really great stories from some of the people, like some of the funny things that happened yesterday, or just amazing things. Like, I know Cosmo, I'd love to pick on you, but Cosmo had left the Times Square location, and what happened?
Hey, hang on. Sorry. Hey, sorry, what was that?
You left the Times Square location yesterday, and you kind of walked around a corner, and then what?
Well, I wanted to tell you a little story before that.
Oh, go ahead.
Because it's funny, because we weren't sure if the Empire State Building was lit red, and I walked around like I said, and so I'm walking towards the Empire State Building. I can see some red in the clouds, and I'm hoping it's the Empire State Building. And so I turn the corner, and I can see the spire, and it's white, and I'm like, what happened? And then I realized at 10 o'clock, every hour, they go you know, the chase thing they do, that program thing. And I realized it was hopefully doing that. So then I walked down, and I got to 34th Street, and I turned the corner, and there it was, the Empire State Building in all its glory red. And it just, I tell you, I almost cried just to see that, because, you know, that everything revolved around the Empire State Building in the beginning. It's like, if we get this building, every other one will fall in line. And as you know, as the 9 of us know, and as this thing grew, it was like impossible. So, but just seeing that, walking and seeing that, I can't tell you how it made me feel. You know, it was incredible.
I mean, the crazy thing is we've been working on the Empire State Building for 2 weeks. It was the first one, I think, that we approached. And we finally got the answer back at 10:30 last night saying, by the way, look up, it's red.
Yeah.
You know, we decided to go for it. And so we got the answer at 10:30 and it had already been lit in red by that time. So, you know, the good news or the good thing would have been if we could have used that to lure in some of the other buildings that weren't so supportive. But it all worked out amazing.
My background is actually Cosmo's photo that he sent to me in Times Square. So
yeah, that's an awesome picture. Such a great picture. I mean, you know, just go out on, if you want to see how cool this thing was, go to Google, type in Red Alert Restart, images, search, and just sit there and scroll for days. You know, it's insane, the number of pictures. Anybody else have any good stories? I know Gumper's got one. Or 10.
Well, Gumper and I had a bit of a fail. This one, there was a ton, but he ran out of time. But the real plan was that he was going to bring me 4 Sharpies pre-programmed in red to shoot out off of our balcony to forcibly the casino's red on the strip. And we knew that I sit in a FAA flight pattern, so I was definitely going to ultimately get arrested for it, but I figured I'd take a hit anyway.
Yeah.
Knowing that it wouldn't technically be a felony, so it wouldn't endanger my firearms licensing. So in the end of the day, just
do that
in the day.
Just ran out of time, yeah.
So I did the Hail Mary pass and just photoshopped it up for everybody.
Is that where the jetpack came in? You just defaulted to the jetpack instead?
You got to get the right angle, you know. That's
hilarious.
I mean, I literally thought Vegas went red after I saw Dearson's photo. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And he was like, no, I just filtered it.
Matt asked me about it earlier, and I said, have you not seen my renderings in Photoshop? I can turn Vegas into the Matterhorn if you want.
That's hilarious. So, but Andrew, what happened with that thing that you did? So Andrew calls me up. And I'm half drunk. I've had 3 glasses of wine by then. I think it's probably midnight or something my time, probably even later. I don't know. And he calls earlier than that. Yeah. He goes, I'm gonna put, you know, Congress, please pass restart now or something like this in truss, lighted truss on the ground. And I'm like, dude, why do you need so many words? And he goes, because I got a lot of truss.
And a lot of custom.
Make it shorter.
I settled for the pass restart now.
Restart.
And, yeah.
You can write the Constitution and
restart. Like I'm trying to shorten the whole thing to make your life easier and to make it clearer, you know. And he's like writing a freaking story with trust.
He had a whole field and a lot of trust. Come on.
Custom trust he has. It's cursive.
That was so funny. And so what happened at the end, though? You went to load out. What happened?
Yeah, the best pat on the back at the end of it was we're getting ready to, you know, everyone's showing up to tear down. And the guys that run the downtown event center were like, you know what? Leave the truss out. Let's leave this message until it's signed.
That's so amazing.
So that'll be there. Cool. And any helicopter is going to catch that for the next few weeks.
That is so amazing. Hey,
who did Raiders Stadium? That looked great.
That was a coordinated effort. Jesse from LDI was kind of the one that spearheaded that conversation, and Chris was very heavily involved in content because they didn't seem to know how to use their screens yet. And in the end, I just told him, I'm like, just turn the thing red and take a picture.
Right. Yeah. It looked awesome. It was like this glowing central orb red. It was awesome, man.
Exactly.
Where is Chris? Is he working?
He's still editing, probably.
So I just noticed that Christian Jackson is here, our 19-year-old host from our live stream last night. And so, Christian, I'm just curious, of all the challenges that we had last night, what was the most challenging thing? Because you did a really good job. You did a really good job of filling in the blanks and just going, okay, so anybody got any recipes? You know,
yeah. The biggest challenge was looking over to our director and just seeing him do this when I thought we had like some footage to go to. I'm like, all right, we're gonna head over to some footage that the kind people over in Houston sent to us. And then as soon as I finished saying that, they're like. Like, all right, we'll go back over to the YouTube chat.
Sorry, I was getting jerky on comm, Marcel, but we had that mayor video that we busted our ass for, and we were just hoping it wasn't upside down or anything.
It looked great.
Like David Milley, David Milley was upside down. That was classic.
Totally classic.
David's here, right?
Yeah. I mean, Christian, I half expected that to be from your bedroom, like the shootout. And then when I saw photos of the studio, I was like, damn, look at this. This is all
it was. I made the decision that if I wanted to do it, I had to recruit some people, and I didn't feel comfortable having everybody come over to my house. So we did a studio.
Yeah. I mean, I think for sure the one thing that, given the amount of time we had to put this thing together, which was about 3 days, I would probably change the Zoom call-in thing next time, somehow get some other way. Because what was happening is I jumped into this position of where I was trying to—
Sweetie, do you want to come over and edit the pictures on my phone?
Whoa. So what was happening is I've got the guys on the radio, your guys on the radio, and they're saying, we don't see anybody in Zoom. And I've got somebody on my phone going, but I'm there, I'm sitting there. And then I've got like 3 people who are texting me and calling me saying, I'm sitting in Zoom, what do I do?
And I'm watching this exact scenario in my periphery as I'm trying to look at the camera and keep the conversation somewhat going. Yeah, I agree. It's tough to, I don't know what we could do to get a very consistent standard system for all these different places where we can have multiple people. It's such a tough problem to solve on no time and no money, but there's got to be a better way.
Christian,
more canned stuff, I think, is having more canned stuff is the answer to that.
Yeah.
We call it a punt board in programming. You have your punt board, so when that call doesn't come through, you can immediately go to a list of possible punts.
Completely agree.
You're unmuted and you're talking to yourself.
That was the stuff that worked really well.
David, stop talking to yourself.
You sound like a crazy person.
Who's talking to himself?
David.
Oh.
How about the guys at DCR Nashville and their tractor trailer with 48 Claypacky Scenius that they just drove around with a generator and kept pointing at buildings and lighting up buildings, just driving around getting pictures last night. It was pretty cool.
I didn't see that. That's amazing. That is hilarious.
They literally got a flatbed trailer. They put a generator on it, a PD, an MA, and they had 48 Unicos. And they drove around. They lit up the Capitol. They did the Batman building. They actually drove it down Broadway, downtown and Broadway, and were doing ballyhoos across all of the honky tonks.
That is crazy.
While people were inside. It was crazy looking.
I think that wins the award for most creative.
Yeah, that was my personal favorite as well.
DCR Nashville killed it.
Yeah, that is so cool. Yeah, I mean, the other thing, Christian, was I was trying to play director for a little while with 3/4 of a bottle of wine in me, and I'm talking to your guys going, okay, listen, here's what we want to do. You want to fade this guy out in about 30 seconds because he's really boring. And, let's get this other guy in, right? He's in the Zoom room right now. Grab him. We don't see anybody in the Zoom room. And I'm like, come on, man.
I remember because I had program in my left ear and then crew comms in my right ear. So I'm hearing this battle back and forth between what's currently going on and what's hopefully going to happen in the next 30 seconds.
It was hilarious.
We were the guinea pigs in New York, and I was just trying to get it set up to hand it over to our
camera. Oh, you guys did great. I mean, the New York one was great. Other than the fact that, you were using, why didn't you take one of your AirPods out and give it to Kelly, for example?
Well, here's the thing, though. I was not intending on going live. I was talking to your A2, Christian, and I was like, the program music is blowing my ears out. Can you turn it down? He's like, yeah, no problem, no problem. Then all of a sudden it goes live to New York, and I'm like, hi, world.
You did great, Matt. You were good. Honestly, who was the one who did the circle where they were all in the circle and they did that whole thing where they held the wrenches up and
that was Boston.
That was so friggin' cool.
That was
you would think I'd remember that one since it was the second one of the night. I shouldn't have been that drunk by then, but
yeah, did you start that early? Jeez.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. It was
I'd like to know who was swearing at Rob Gibson. Remember that?
No.
Do you remember that? You remember it, Christian,
Yep.
don't you? Yeah,
like
it caught
so
it on
there was some
video.
crackhead on the street
Yeah.
who just started like going off.
That is funny, man.
And Rob was just standing there so cool, like he was just acting like nobody was there, nobody was saying anything. It was hilarious.
Rob,
And then there's people
you
typing
did that
in the
well,
comments.
Rob.
There's people typing in the comments saying security, security.
Oh no! Well, it was crazy because we had a cop with us, right? And so the cop is like ready to go, and I'm like, just let him be. I actually wanted to put him on camera. He thought, because Floyd Dillman was holding the camera, and he thought Floyd was like getting in my face, so he was like trying to protect me.
That was funny.
So, and then the cop is like ready to charge, and then right now in downtown Chicago at night they just have cops everywhere with their lights on trying to prevent looting.
Yeah.
And so all the other cars are starting to like wake up, and I'm like, we do not need a thing here. Everything's cool. And then I'm just like standing there, and I don't know because the camera was flipped around, so I was just looking at the back of the phone. I didn't know if we needed to still be standing there. I'm like, let's go, what's going on?
You were so cool and collected. It was pretty good.
Did
You
anyone
handled that well?
Did anyone lose any lights or get anything stolen or?
Yes, we had one casualty of Los Angeles. As I was flying, as I was flying the drone through the LA Coliseum, we had a gust of wind, and the drone. Hold on, wait.
Oh, it's a video of the
It wasn't a
drone
light, it was a
crashing.
drone. It's fine.
So
I can tell Joe's excited.
There we go. There's the drone.
I don't have any pictures.
Oh
though.
shit!
Yeah, we toasted a drone in Chicago. We hit some.
Yeah, so if you go to my Facebook, it's actually I was live streaming when it happened, and I'm like, no, it's live. Crap! Everybody's gonna see it. But it looked great, and I flew the drone through the Olympic torch 4 or 5 times. It looks awesome. So.
And now you're gonna lose your drone license because you crashed it.
It was only crashed at 10 feet, and I was flying recreationally.
Oh, there you go. Of course you were.
We had a drone go down in Houston, and unfortunately, the guy called me, and he's been doing a really good job. He did a lot of the mayor's thing, and when they did the case push, and he was kicking some ass, and he called me about 10 minutes before the live stream, and I said, how's it going? He's like, oh, not so well. It was a little bit breezy, and I hit the George R. Brown Convention Center, and I'm out, and I'm done. And I'm like, well, that sucks. He's like, so do we have event insurance?
Oh, no. You're like, what?
Oh, man. No. Sorry, bro.
That's hilarious.
You're like,
yeah,
oh,
I'm
you're
lucky I
cutting
was
out,
smart
you're
enough.
cutting out.
So, Gary, didn't you lose a bunch of, didn't you guys lose a bunch of LED fixtures or something in England, or Steve?
Where's
Joe
Gary?
lost
a light.
Joe lost a color strobe.
Yeah. We had somebody, security stepped away for a hot minute, and like who knows, man, like all we heard is a big bang, and we go out, and I guess someone had tried to pick up a color strobe and like drop kicked it or something and bent the chassis up and screwed it up pretty bad.
Where did that happen at, Joe?
I was outside the Paramount.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Gary, what happened in UK?
No, we lost no, didn't lose anything. We
I thought you guys lost a bunch of LED fixtures.
we distributed 800 LED battery fixtures along the South Bank and North Bank, and believe it or not, we got every single one back. Who knew?
That's amazing. In that case, that's my false information, because one of the freelancers told me that somebody had dropped one in the Thames.
Well, apparently that's what we'd heard, that one had got dropped in the Thames, and about another 7 was missing, and then within 48 hours everything was back, so it was all
Hallelujah. Fantastic.
all good, all good.
I think a lot of companies, the only income they've got is insurance claims. So.
It's true, huh? Yeah, quite. It's the only thing you've got to hang on to. Yeah.
That's funny.
We've got like 4 fixtures because we were dodging thunder and lightning down in Florida. So we got 4 fixtures that got to hit the bench. I don't know if it was what issue it was or if they just need to dry out. But between that and then flying drones inside of arenas, they don't get very good GPS signal because of the hurricane rating of the roof. So It went back together, but that thing was crashing left and right, trying to get the zoom through shots of the inside of the arena.
One of the other funny things during the live stream was San Francisco. I don't know if everyone stayed awake for San Francisco. I did. And the drag queen that they had in San Francisco, they basically gave her a script for like a 1-minute thing or whatever, and said, you know, just maybe fill another minute. And she went rogue. She just went off into this crazy story that went on and on and on and on.
I loved it.
And I'm on the radios going, guys, come on, man, you're killing me over here. So that was pretty funny.
I had a weird Siri moment. You know, again, Honolulu was in lockdown, and it was kind of questionable. Do we have permission to do this? Well, we talked to a bunch of people. Just don't worry about it. It's going to happen. And meanwhile, you know, $5,000 fines are being discussed, and I lose about a third of my crew instantly. And so I'm trying to make phone calls and the like, and I'm taking the calls whenever they come to me, and I'm driving in my car, so I'm using Siri to respond as far as a text is concerned. So I say, okay, now look, you know, if you need to know what this is about, we have a new video. It's really important you look at this, and it's called "We Make Events." Okay, except that Siri interprets that as "We make revenge," and then Siri corrects the grammar and says, "We will have our revenge."
Oh Jesus! This is probably not a good thing.
Not a good thing. I think.
Hey guys, before I go, it's Chris. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so I'm sitting in a studio in Oakland right now. I'm gonna switch my camera. These two professional photographers we have on standby just were telling each other about this cool new thing they saw on their Instagram right now. This We Make Events thing. This looks pretty cool. Right, why I'm sitting here on this conversation. So
that's funny. And you're like, hey, I made that video.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I gotta go. Thank you all.
Hey, thanks, Chris. You
Thank
rule.
you.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Yeah. So Chris
Chris
and Rob, like over the past 48 hours, what was happening is we said, okay, so we're going to have some of these PSA, public service announcement videos that we want you guys to edit and put this like bottom third thing in that, you know, shows logos and stuff. And they're like, yeah, that's easy. And so first it was like 3 of them, then it was maybe 6 of them. And then all of a sudden it's like 75 of them, right? And these guys are like, guys, you know, I got other things that I need to do today too. And, you know, I think we still probably have 20 of them that we haven't pushed out yet. And there's still some coming in. Like, I think we got 2 of them this morning. So, you know, Foo Fighters, I saw yesterday on, was it Instagram, I think? Twitter. Foo Fighters posted about We Make Events and Red Alert Restart. Mayors, congresspeople, senators, the guy who wrote the Restart Act was posting about us and actually did a PSA also on our site.
It was great.
Marcel, was Jack Black, was that us, or was that just organic and happened?
No, that was us. I'm not sure actually who on our team. Patrick, was that from you?
No, that was Bubbles and Billy Bob.
Yeah, Bubbles, unbelievable.
Bubbles, I laugh every time I watch him.
I still do too.
So good.
Never gets old. And actually, it's funnier censored. Like, for some reason,
I don't think
it is funnier censored.
No,
the black
absolutely
makes
not.
it killer.
No.
I hate the censored one. I love the other one.
Yeah, the raw one's better, man. The
You can
fucking
hear what he says anyways.
Yeah.
But I will-
You know, what does he say? Something about when this
fucking nasty bug.
No, the nasty fucking virus is eliminated or whatever he says at the end, and we can get back to work or something. I mean, that's just the funniest line of the whole thing. He's just
Okay,
so
Marcel, can I tell you, I tried to watch an episode of that show.
Did you watch the one where they kidnapped Alex Lifeson?
No, I don't know
Oh my
which
God,
one. Which episode is that?
What show
The
is
one
that?
where they kidnapped Alex Lifeson. I don't know what
That's
number.
one of the best episodes.
It's hilarious.
Let me know which episode. I don't know. I mean, I knew hockey players had foul mouths in Canada.
Maybe, occasionally, but just Google, you know, Trailer Park Boys kidnapped Alex Lifeson, and you'll find it somewhere.
Or one of their fantastic movies. Eric, if you're with the family one night, get some popcorn and just watch a whole Trailer Park Boys marathon.
Yeah, it's
you know?
definitely not a family movie. Definitely not
Hell
a family.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not.
Well, it depends which family. I mean, my family would have fun with that movie. I don't know.
I do want to give a shout out though to Rob Gibson, because last minute we got a billboard in Times Square, and I was like, "Hey Rob, none of the video clips or anything are gonna work, and we're not sure if they're gonna give us 30 seconds or 10 minutes. Can you give me a custom raster?" And he's like, "Shh, don't tell anybody." He banged it out in a day. It was amazing.
Shame
So-
on you,
I
Rob.
just want Chris Hassan to yell at me anymore. I was like, we're doing all this work for free just to get yelled at.
Yeah.
But Rob also helped me out with some marquees on Broadway too, which I was very.
Jesus,
Hey, Kaminsky, this is the opposite of shh.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Giving you a shout out, my
Man,
friend.
he said no to everything I asked him for.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Rob didn't do anything for me, and I asked all the time. So
I'm just saying.
The
Nobody
other
asked
thing,
me, Patrick.
I'm kidding, Rob. We
other-
didn't ask you for anything, but great job on all the videos.
Thank you.
Sure.
And
Tremendous
Ghost
job.
Light-
Tremendous job. Kick
That
ass.
Ghost Light video you posted last night was amazing, dude.
That was
like,
was that the Norm Schwab, the light switch one was unreal. I don't know if you guys saw their San Francisco video they did, and they're doing all their helicopter video tonight. So I don't know what they're going to kick out. But what was so I, yesterday or the last couple of days, these tearjerker videos were the other thing that were just, like I think of myself as a tough guy, and these videos are coming out, and I'm like, I'm like blown away by these videos. So one was Tyler, who's right dead center on my screen. Your team did an unbelievable video about, Don't Forget Us.
That was all Autumn Jacobs that produced that. She's here with us today. She put all that together.
You're a rock star. That video was tremendous. So good. So good. I mean, these videos are killing me, man. That theater one, even though I hate musicals and I had to listen to the musical, but that one theater one that I shared with all of you guys.
That was a really good one. The Phoenix Theater.
Oh, yeah. So friggin' sad. It's just like, what the hell is going on here? These videos are just crushing me. That's why I had to share the uncensored Bubbles one. Make me happy.
I have
That
a
made me
huge
happy.
collection of testimonials from everyone who was in that PSA and several other people, and I intend to continue doing that. I'm working on a system right now that's not just video, but also we can do just audio. So people who aren't comfortable being in front of the camera, like me, they'll have a chance to tell
You're
their
doing okay right now, Autumn. 77 of your peers.
you gotta go with the flow, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's gonna keep coming. I'm gonna just pump that content out as soon as I have my video editor who did the PSA. She's not available.
Send it to Rob. Apparently, he'll do anything.
All of this stuff is cleaned up. I mean, it's we did it in a studio setting and at that particular time, so it was like, there's all kinds of weird shit going on.
You did a great job. It was a great video. It was, simple but very effective. So
Good.
Congratulations.
Good
job.
It seems
And
like
thank
it
you for
made
sharing it.
something in there.
So Christian Jackson, we were busting your balls before you got on here.
I figured.
So one of the more famous, well-known, well-loved lighting designers in our entire industry is Cosmo Wilson, also known as Connor Wilson.
Yeah, about that, Christian.
Wait, what happened?
So
You called him Connor Wilson.
Called Cosmo Connor.
Really? I don't remember any of this.
It's all
honestly.
good. It was, dude. It was the same as me. Like I'm live. You were like, well, we'll
That
start
doesn't-
this, figure it out.
That doesn't make any sense though. Like I don't know how that would. I don't even know how that would become a thought, like an actual thought that I processed in my mind. That must have like gone into the overflow region of like the back part of my brain or something. I don't know how that would have, because that makes no sense to me that I would make that mistake, and nobody caught it at the time, and I didn't catch it. So like,
Cosmo,
sorry.
could you please just help Christian out and change your name to Connor?
I don't
I
hold
can't
that
believe
against you, Christian.
I actually don't believe I said that. I think you guys are playing a prank on me because
no, we got it on
we
tape.
have video.
Oh,
That's
no,
the problem.
YouTube, Christian. It is on YouTube.
Oh man. well.
No, I literally at first I was like, did he really say Connor? No, no way. Like
No way. I knew something like that was going to happen. I didn't know when. And of course, it'd have to be the worst possible way to do it.
So Rob, can we get you to put together a blooper reel out of the 4.5 hours of footage?
Yes.
Rob left.
So basically the 4.5 hours of footage.
Yeah, there you go. No, it wasn't all bad, Christian. Some of it was pretty good.
It
actually.
wasn't all bad.
It wasn't all bad. We had good moments. There were some moments for sure. I mean, absolutely the Boston folks. Is Todd here? Todd Garrish?
No, I don't think so.
Or anyone from Boston?
No.
Anyone who's ever been to Boston?
I lived in Boston.
Yeah.
Right. Then you could talk
I had
about
their
it.
chowder.
No, they did this circle where they did this whole chanting thing, and they had wrenches that they were holding up in the air.
I was at the BCEC.
Yeah.
That was the Boston Convention Center.
Yeah, it was
ART
so
also. They also lit up ART and some of the other theaters.
Dude,
I mean, they killed it.
Boston and Worcester were lit up, and the thing that was great is it was four-wall Boston, port lighting,
High output.
high output. They all came together. It was like there was no, we're doing this gig, we're doing this. They all worked together. It was beautiful. It was
You
beautiful.
mentioned that earlier, Matt. You were also saying about like the case push with IATSE folks and non-union people pushing cases side by side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
well, we have our own. Well, never mind. Not going to say it on public.
We actually had a really lovely variety of people there. It would have been very difficult to explain exactly who they were, but as we surveyed people in retrospect, there are people from makeup, food services, every one of the standard departments. Basically, every shop that sent cases also sent people or had people come, plus all the other shops as well, and everybody worked really well together.
Diana was our technical director for the install in Times Square.
Oh wow! Well, you did a great
and
job.
we went to college together.
And
In Boston, no less.
your email today was very nice too, Diana. Nice job.
Thank you.
Hey, John Dixon's son, your daddy's nuts.
This is Preston.
Preston, your daddy's nuts. Crazy.
You don't have to tell him. He said.
That's funny.
Hey, Tyler,
Yeah.
you missing something?
Yeah. I was wondering where those went. I want to get a total tally of participants.
Yeah, it looks like it's roughly. Oh, is there another? So this one's got roughly 150 names on it.
Okay, I had a total of 3 sign-in sheets. So I have one. You have one. I don't know where the third one is, but definitely would like to.
We probably hit over 200 people in our push.
I think we're over 300.
Yeah,
Wow.
just over 300. I counted a couple times.
Crazy.
I'm a little neurotic.
Yeah.
So
So next time I have a gig and I can't find a fucking stagehand to fill out the call.
Well, I mean, you got to live.
So I need to take some vacation before September 20th.
We'll mute that. We'll mute that one. That was Nancy.
Sounds
Is
like
Michael Strickland on here?
I don't think he is today. He's a little bit busy. I think we've made him busier than he's been maybe ever. So Strickland has been going nuts. I mean, like he calls me 20 times a day and he's like, you won't believe what just happened. You won't believe who just called me. You won't believe, the thing is just growing so fast. Like I think his email list 3 weeks ago was 700 people. And now it's in the many thousands of people. And it went from talking about Restart to talking about Red Alert Restart. And I told Strickland today that they should officially change the name of that bill to Red Alert Restart, because I think we changed the face of that bill. I think, single-handedly or how many 10,000 handedly, we changed the face of that whole thing. So
It was
And there's
definitely
no-
interesting to watch people to walk up to you and start talking to you just off the street and be like, what's this about? And then to take a picture, retweet all the hashtags that we've been talking about. So just like strangers in the street, like we just
Who
have
was
like
it? Who was it who said earlier, was it you, Joe, who said that people were coming up and asking questions and usually you go, yeah, and blow them off. And now it was like stopping and actually explaining to people what we do. Who was that who said that earlier?
Wasn't me. I had that experience a couple times. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And it was me.
Yeah, I'd have them all tweet and Instagram a picture because they were all there taking pictures. Like they'd get into the light. Two young guys started filming a music video and breakdancing next to the building, and I'm like, they could have never afforded this lighting package in their in their budget, but now they have a whole scene with them like with the light in their face and them jumping around and.
Did any of you guys walk around after the marches, like at 9 o'clock to midnight, in that 11 o'clock window? Because I went around downtown Seattle and just checked out, and we lit up a couple buildings that didn't have LED installs, like the Moore, the Paramount, and the Showbox, and all of their crews were kind of hanging out front, just having kind of almost a reunion. Yeah,
in Belltown there was a nice buzz.
Having a reunion, and there were so many people just walking by the venues, and a bunch of people we talked to them, and they were like, oh yeah, I saw this earlier on the news, or I saw this light up red, and I went home and got my camera. And so there were a ton of people who just like, yeah, I live in a condo and I saw the march go by and I came out to take pictures. And so all the way up until midnight last night, there were people roaming around downtown.
People taking pictures everywhere, like lines of them trying to.
If our message was to spread awareness, I think we did a good job all the way around.
What's the follow-up to this?
Yeah, what are we doing now? What's
next?
Yeah, so
other than taking Wednesday off because I wasn't going to do anything today, and here I am on a Zoom call.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Yes, some of us have been on 2 Zoom calls already.
Yeah.
Well, some of us have been on many Zoom calls actually. But no, we. So it's funny because we talked about this earlier, and for me, like 50% of me is like, okay, this is over. I want my life back, and my job back, and my, everything else back. But the thing is, see you, Brad. Hey, by the way, everyone, Brad kicked ass.
Yeah, thank you, Brad.
Brad,
that
was fantastic. Good job.
Thanks for everything you did, Brad.
Brad was our national director for this thing, and he absolutely killed it. So
thank you all. I very much feel like it was a regional effort that made it all happen, but it was great. Team effort.
You did a good job. You did a good
job.
Thanks,
everybody.
Thanks, Brad.
This felt so good. It felt like being back at work.
So now that Brad's gone, I'm going to tell you something funny. So I've said this before, but one of the most common questions that I've always gotten about Brad is, who the fuck is Brad Milnes? People kept coming to me and saying, who the fuck is this guy, Brad Milnes? I never heard of him. And I'm like, well, he used to work for Act Lighting, and before that he worked for this other company, and before that he worked for VER and Four Wall. And he's just a really good dude. Take his call, is what I always said. Just take his call. And they'd be like, are you sure? Like, I don't know who he is. You sure I should? Because, our industry, sometimes it takes 20 years to build these relationships and before people will take your call, right? And I was like, take his call. And, Brad's just an awesome guy who did an amazing job. And he's sort of the, what did I call him? The salt to my pepper. And, like, I'm not the most diplomatic guy sometimes. I talk too much. I'm opinionated, blah, blah, blah. But Brad is the diplomatic guy who can talk through a problem. I just want to squash the problem and move on. So it worked out well. I mean, the guy's just an awesome guy. And here's the other thing. He's furloughed. He's laid off right now. So he just had the most incredible resume building 3 weeks I think anyone could ever have in their career. So, the guy went from relative obscurity to, being a very, very well-known guy in our industry. So that's amazing. And well-deserved.
And he's a kid.
And he's
Can I say one thing about last night?
Lynn.
Yes.
Please.
So I'm in Orlando, Florida, and it's like monsoon season here. It's hurricane season, monsoon season. The weather has been raining every day, especially at dinner time, horribly, thunder, lightning. But yesterday, even though it said 70% rain, thunder, lightning, it was beautiful. It was like the heavens opened up and said, you can have your night here.
That's amazing.
So, you know, it was just meant to be.
Bye, Ellen.
Bye, Marcel. Talk to you tomorrow.
By the way, everyone, before Ellen leaves, she kicked ass. Ellen was our media director. She worked with all our PR people. She worked with all the magazines. She kept all these articles flowing in and out of our company. I mean, she really kicked ass. So go to your next Zoom call, Ellen. Thank you.
Thank you. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you.
So now that Ellen's gone, let me tell you, I got a story. What I'm saying is nobody leave this call. So, yeah. Lynn, you did a great job. Orlando was beautiful and you did a fantastic job. And Lynn was a casualty of Zoom last night. So around the first, like I'd say after the first 10 or 15%, we were pretty good with this Zoom mess. And then all of a sudden it started just turning into this sort of jumbled ball of shit. And Lynn got caught up in that.
It's ready. I was in the middle of Santa Farts Plaza with my selfie stick.
Yeah.
And then we had a guy at Lake Eola, but you know what? It's all good. I mean, really.
Yeah, but we lost actually all of our Florida people. We lost you, we lost Corey, and we lost somebody else.
Oh, right.
In Florida. So, you know, it sucked, but it was what it was. So.
Right. And we'll have great pictures for you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just go dark here so I can get to work with what Brad wants for, you know, because I got to find like the best
homework.
ones.
You've got homework. Hey, Gary, I know you're about to
I'm listening, so you can talk about me.
Gary, what have you got for us? Don't give away any secrets. Gary and I have a conference call tomorrow. You guys ask what's next. There is something next. There's something global next. Gary and I are working on it tomorrow. And I can only tell you nothing. I can only tell you nothing. It's going to be global and it's going to be different.
I'm not allowed to say anything, clearly. But it's interesting, shall I say. It's all good, all good. Because can I just, well, I'm a bit like Marcel where I talk to a lot when I start. But fundamentally, when we finished our event on the 11th, I just thought, oh God, thank God for that. It was great. Amazing sort of 3.5 weeks of activity, regionals, yada, yada, yada. And then the next day, my inbox was full of what's next? What's next? What are we doing next? What are we doing next? It was like, oh, right. Okay. So that's where we then ended up. And I did warn the guys, both Brad and Marcel, that that's probably what will happen. So we do have a plan. And if you guys are up for it, then we'll share that in time. But you guys blew it out the water. I mean, you know, we tried for a miss. Don't forget, we're only small. We're a little island. We did our 715 little venues across the UK, and it was all great. But you guys blew it out of the water, and I have to say, I tip my cap and congratulations. You deserve it. And one thing to mention, based on what you said earlier, Marcel, is actually the fallout for this is it will last a couple of weeks where you'll be able to gain local PR and conversations with your mayors or whoever it may be, and you will achieve what you need to do by public awareness. That's it. Public opinion changes government, not people driving and throwing things at government. Actually, it's just pure public awareness and public opinion, and you guys will achieve what you need to do, especially by knocking it out the park like you did last night. So
yeah, no, it's funny. It's funny what happened because government wasn't running from us last night. They were actually latching on, and I think some mayors and people tried to take credit for what we were doing. Some were just trying to grab onto the popularity of these hashtags and stuff. But I think genuinely people took notice. Put it that way.
Who cares whoever wants to grab it as long as you get the result that you need to get. That's all. That's all that matters. And I hope you do. It's difficult for us all right across the globe. I mean, I'm fortunate where you know, I have conversations with, whether it be Malaysia or Philippines, who are all part of our own, they're all part of the same family. Slovenia, Italy, Sweden, the list goes on, of all the other countries that are actively involved in the hashtag We Make Events.
Well, you know, the one thing that this group of people did yesterday is give you, you know, some great material to be talking to these people about. So, you know, look at what they just did, for example, and look what they were able to achieve. And yeah, so
Gary,
cool.
thank you for giving us your assets. Your 6 to 8
hell yeah.
of time was what made us be able to do this in 3 weeks. So thank you very much.
Yeah, they had to start from zero. We got to start from about, you know, 50 or 60%. Like they had all the assets, logos, images, videos, etc.
Mutual love. We're all in the same boat.
Hell yeah.
That's the way it is. So,
No, hell yeah. By the way, one of the statistics that I forgot to tell you was yesterday alone, we got, so it's funny because this thing was all done on no budget. I was going to say shoestring budget, but it was zero budget. Nobody got paid. Nobody earned anything. I know you all know that. Nobody spent any money. And so we have this IATSE guy named Jonas who built our website for us. And he built it for nothing. He gave us his time, of course.
Marcel, we paid everybody in the UK.
Good for you. You guys tax people 70% too, so you got lots of money.
You're
You pay up.
my invoice.
Yeah, you should be paying us right now. But anyways, so Jonas built the site and he put it on this hosting platform that he's got where he can build lots of sites and just throw more sites under there and we don't have to pay any hosting. And so I was like, are you sure? You know, and he goes, oh yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Well, I believe that he was thinking at most we would ever get would be 2,000 or 3,000 people a day, right? And which is, you know, that's a pretty good size site. So, you know, I own an e-commerce site that gets about 6,000 people a day, which is a pretty good number. In our industry, this is a niche industry. So yesterday we got just under 50,000 people on our site yesterday. We had an average of between 300 and 500 people on the site at any given moment, always. And so the site kept just freaking buckling and bending and almost crashing, but not quite.
It crashed. I had a star who was like one of my artists went on.
I mean, you just hit refresh and it comes back. So it's not fully crashed. It's just sort of crashed, right?
I don't know about that. It was like 20 minutes of them trying to get on.
Yeah. One of the things we had, Gary, was we had this form or a letter that you could just basically fill out your name and stuff and hit send, and it would send letters out to, you know, government officials that we want to send these letters to. So we've sent a total of 10,000 letters from our site. As of day before yesterday, that number was 500. So the rest came yesterday. The rest hit yesterday. Like yesterday was just an insane day. Everything just went batshit crazy. And, you know, I keep joking. I got a funny text from Sharon, our social media person yesterday, saying Instagram has gone bananas. And I was like, okay, what's that mean? Is that good? Is that bad? You know, does that mean we got lots of traffic? Is it broken? And, you know, it was just one of those days. It was a friggin' crazy, goofy, wonderful, amazing, nutty day.
So as people continue to ask us about this, I know that we can just say search the hashtags, which might be a little advanced for some of the people who are looking. Is there somewhere where there could be some of the video shots, some of the live shots, some of the stills that are, is there going to be like a curated best of compilation somewhere?
Yes. And so the first thing that we're doing is we're creating those folders for media, and that's being done today. And so a lot of the people who are here saying, I've got homework to do, Jesus. That's because in our meeting earlier, we talked about, you know, we need this and whatever. So the first thing is we're creating folders for media to be able to grab stuff. The other thing that we're doing is we're creating a document basically that Strickland can send out to all of his Congress people. And so then after that is when we are going through the tens of thousands of images that we've got, putting them all into a place and just basically creating a free-for-all download viewing platform where everybody can go and just grab images or videos or whatever. You can watch them, you can take them. As best we can, we're going to put photo credits in there if we have them. If we don't, then they're just going to go in there, and hopefully, you know, nobody gets mad at us, but we're not trying to steal or sell or any of that stuff. It's just, you know.
Is that a good place to put my testimonials, or should they go?
I don't know. That's probably more of a Brad question, I think. I don't know if we have a folder for testimonials already, but
to that point, I've watermarked my photos, but I'm happy to remove them if anybody wants, you know, if anybody needs it for something else.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing is to, instead of watermarking it, just put photo credit. You know, you could put it in the name of the photo or in the
Yeah, that
description
didn't happen from the cell phone Adobe Lightroom last night. But
okay. No, but the thing is, Herrick, we want to give you credit for your photos.
Yeah.
We absolutely want to give you credit, and we'll also tag you when we're posting them and stuff.
Yeah.
But having the watermark on the photo itself is just
right.
Kind of a pain in the ass.
No, it happens automatically. I'm just saying, just somebody ping me and I'll get you the original in like seconds. You know,
Eric, we'll filter that through Kelly. So
okay.
Just to keep it all streamlined, we'll talk about it later.
Great.
Can I share what we did with ours, where we collated a whole bunch of stuff, which we did the regions. I mean, you guys, obviously, you've got bigger territories, so you might have to split it into more. But we pulled together a video of all of everybody's activities together at the same time. Should I share that?
Please.
I'd love to see that.
Oh, you're sharing it on your screen?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me allow you to share your screen.
I was going to say too, Marcel, I don't know if you saw Martin Audio put together a really cool collage thing.
I did, actually. That one was beautiful. The Martin Audio one was really good.
Right, I think it's this one. Okay.
They haven't worked since the beginning of March, and they are not going to work because they're not allowed to until probably next spring.
I think the problem is that government does not listen.
Okay, I think I've seen this.
They don't understand our business.
And we're an industry that is always helping other people. Then suddenly here we are.
Steve Warren.
That was a nice ABO plug in there too.
Gary, your sound quality is shite.
Absolutely no income whatsoever. And what needs to happen is simple. Extend the government support schemes until the sector can open. It's that easy. We don't sell arms. We're not bankers. We just give people pleasure. Nothing else. This has really hit us hard. We have to do whatever we can really within our limited means in this current situation. If we don't nurture and look after those people, we ain't going to be able to get it back. And it's the envy of the world. We've got to do something about it now.
Yeah, great video. That's
Rob
a great
Gibson,
video.
were you watching that?
Who?
Rob Gibson. Oh, he's on the phone.
Yeah,
We just need him to make one of those.
Got a bigger name on the other line.
So anyway, we out of all of ours, we ended up making about 3 or 4 different videos that we push out and wrap around.
Who is doing all of your videos and stuff?
It's a mixture, actually. It's about 3 or 4 different guys. So,
All right.
Yeah. Sharing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with us. It's all, see you, Jason. It's all, you know, just people volunteering their time and energy and making shit happen. So it's a good thing. By the way, Bob Williams, the IMS stuff is amazing. I happen to be a fan
Well, I know you said something about that a few weeks ago, and I know your son's racing, so
Yeah.
I thought you might enjoy that earlier.
It looked beautiful. It was very, very good. Thank you for sharing that.
Great shots. We've got some video drone footage of it.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, so we'll get that out too.
You got it handy?
I don't know if I have that yet or not. Actually, I don't have that.
Oh, okay.
Photos, but I haven't got the drone footage yet. Hopefully I'll get that this evening, and I'll make sure you get it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
We had a fun evening. It was a great time. I think we had down on the circle probably, what do you say, Jason, 100, 150 people at the peak. Well, Jason's still on. He might be gone now. But down there, we had about 150 there, and there were people at a lot of the other sites. And it was a great evening. It all worked out well. We got a little bit of rain, but everybody plowed through it, and it was a good night.
Nook, are you in the basement again?
I'm always in the basement. I live in the basement.
Where
I
is.
don't even go into my office anymore. I just go down to the basement, and I have to fill my gas tank more than once a month. Then I stop going to my office. It's just,
Good for you, Nick. I mean, it's a funny thing. I'll never forget that conversation between you and Wiseman. There you go.
That's
all right.
Nook being Nook.
Children turn away. Nook is in the basement.
I will say one thing that was very, very cool. The night before we lit it up, the American Music Federation hit us up and wanted to throw their weight as a sponsor and light up their building in Times Square, but they said they couldn't do it because it was last minute, but they want to be a partner. And it's just nice to see more and more federations and
so cool. Yeah.
Just coming on board and supporting the cause. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Any more cool stories? I love the stories.
Got some really sweet pictures. I don't know if you see the background here, but oh yeah, we had a laser on the Space Needle at one point.
Oh, did you really?
Is that showing up as the background image there?
That's totally what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, the image, it's all missized. I can't. I'm trying to download it all and do the Zoom meeting and everything, and it's clogging down my network here. But I got a great shot of the whole needle, color balanced to red, with "We Make Events" and lasers straight down the arm that I just got, and I'm adding it to the National Drive, so you guys should all be able to check it out. And I've got an Eleanor here. This is
Joe's getting Zoom bombed.
Zoom bomb. There you go.
Oh boy.
Now you got to do that to his class when he's doing school, homeschool.
That's right. I'm prepping for online school right now. I don't know about you guys, but I got a new career as a second grade teacher coming up.
There you go. Sure, that'll pay well.
Yeah.
Pays better in the entertainment industry right now.
Yeah. So, anything else? I'm out of energy. I just got to tell you, I'm like friggin' tired. Sorry?
I want to know who owns that fire truck with the flame cannons on it that we saw in Vegas. That was cool. Is that you, Andrew? Who owns that?
No, that was that whole thing was Vicky and a whole other group down there. That fire truck is actually, it's a performing artist group in Vegas. They've taken that thing around, and because only outdoor shows are really kind of getting away, they've been getting a lot of work out of that thing.
Right. It just looks like the kind of thing you'd own.
It
does,
definitely
yeah.
piques my interest, trust me.
He got a brochure.
Yeah. Brochure, what are you talking about? We're just going to start making our own.
That's funny.
Was that the one that was supposed to get filled with champagne at Jolo's birthday party?
No, on that one, I actually had a legitimate Clark County fire truck.
Hey, not for nothing, all those acrobats hanging off of the bucket truck were pretty amazing too. Vegas Knockdown Dragout did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Vicky earlier. The only downside of that was audio. It just on Zoom, the way that it came into our live stream, it just didn't sound very good, which was kind of shitty.
Well, technology, it was a little dodgy all night, but at the end of the day, it provided a really awesome visual all across the
Oh,
board.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Messages across.
Hell yeah. No, there was a bunch of that. I mean, I don't know.
The next
So
time
many of
we'll
those.
bring out trucks everywhere, and we'll do the production trucks.
Next
and
time.
Yeah.
You insinuating that we're going to be in this long enough to have a next time. The idea is for us not to ever have to do this again.
We can do this 10 more times in the next 2 months.
Welcome to 2020.
I mean, I'm not even thinking, and honestly, Marcel, like, I would like to see this as more like, I mean, we make events as a name. I really think, like, we talked about in the earlier call, like an advocacy group, so the government knows.
No, I actually, it's a great thought, and it's something that I actually notated to talk tomorrow on my call with Gary about, because, Gary, the concept here that has been brought up is one of our challenges as an industry is that we have no voice. And it's what we kind of went, oh shit, when we got into this whole COVID thing, there was no collective voice that could go to the government or go to whatever and just say, hey, we're this entity, we're a relatively powerful group. We have lawyers, we have a lobbyist, we have whatever. And there was none of that. So really we became silenced in a sense. And so Matt brought up a great point earlier in that maybe one of the things that this could lead to is a global association. And I know Plaza probably isn't going to want to hear that, but a global association that is for our entire industry that sort of not governs, but
there's some
advocate.
people starting
Advocate
to
for you.
that. I mean, between Jim Digby, myself, and a few other select people, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. We're talking about some kind of way to shape the future. Because right now, basically, I started in this business because I just wanted to be a pirate. I didn't want any rules. I wanted to be paid to go around the world, and I did that for 40 years. But a lot of people that are my age didn't save money, didn't help out. There was no regulation and pay. You asked for as much as you could get, and you took as little as you could if it was paying you more than the couch at times. At some point, we gotta kind of regulate and realize that we're not pirates, and there's got to be something, a condition. I mean, if the Teamsters and the IATSE are smart enough to come around and figure out a way to not so much unionize, but come up with 401k plans and things like that and get a decent living wage for people, it's something to start looking forward to. And if we wait till April when we're all balls to the walls again, it'll never happen.
That's a different conversation though. Like, that's very important what you're saying. But I mean, I'm talking about something more along the lines of NAM. NAM has nothing to do with people's wages or it's an organization that, sort of provides an umbrella over the entire thing from a standpoint of legal, lobbying the government, just making sure that those businesses and those people, have a voice. And so that's more what I'm talking about. I'm not necessarily talking about like, Matt mentioned the word union earlier, and then he kind of went, no, not really a union.
I air quoted it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a different thing, and that's going to be a different battle. And
that's a trigger word for some people around here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's a trigger word. You're going to have people who are fans of unions and people who aren't fans of unions, and it's. I think we all believe in the good of our industry, and so all I'm talking about is the fact that when shit hit the fan with COVID, we had no coverage, we had nothing, we had no umbrella, and it was a very rainy day.
Yeah, we had no government support. So the question is can we get government support for events and continue to be in these people's mind who make laws and make decisions, and can we get them to make the laws to our benefit more than
Well, at least give us consideration. You know, like when you're an airline or you're a restaurant or you're a hotel, it's very easy to get the world's attention. But when you're in our industry, you know, it's like, who?
Well, everyone
that's
walks
they
into
pay lobbyists all the time. I mean, the air industry has nonstop lobbyists who are constantly in DC spending money on these people.
I mean, that's why NAM is so important, because they do have lobbyists that they pay. And,
Already.
you know, that's why having NAM, and when Strickland got tied in with Joe over at NAM, and Joe gave the lobbyists to him to help get the word out, it's a mutually, you know, beneficial thing. And I think we definitely need to keep it up, because people, you know, if we're doing our jobs right, I know this has been said and it's cliche, but if we're doing our jobs right, nobody knows that we exist. And that, I think, is to our, you know, not to our benefit.
Yeah, that's original, Matt. Come on.
I know. I mean,
well,
I think
also, I know, Marcel, a couple months ago on your podcast, you had some financial planners on to talk about people in the industry and how we need to take personal accountability. And you know, you don't want to wake up at 65 on the back of a bus without any coverage or any return. So we also have to take personal accountability for that. But I mean, you could look up Marcel's thing, and that was a great conversation.
Yeah. Well, and it went nowhere though. You know, I mean, I was basically lobbying that guy who was going after Broadway actors and musicians and stuff to provide them with insurance, to provide them with financial planning, education, just financial education and you know, future planning education. You know, because like Nook said, you don't want to wake up and be 65 on the back of a tour bus with no plan and no savings and no insurance. And so we talked to him, and I thought we kind of appealed to him, and then it went nowhere. You know, I've not heard anything back. It just kind of went nowhere. So
I feel like there's some way that we could all take our collective knowledge on these subjects and share it, compile it, and pass it around to anybody who hasn't already gotten access to how to, you know, how to survive retiring from this job.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's where you put an association in place. And that's why, you know, again, I'm going to have this talk tomorrow with Gary, and I'm just going to say, hey, you know, I mean, it's a little bit challenging because Gary is part of or backed by or friendly with another organization or an association. And, you know, the thing about some of these associations and stuff is that everyone generally has some sort of an agenda that is, you know, sort of central to them, I guess. And what we want is we just want like an umbrella over our entire industry that we pay a little tiny bit of money into, and they've got lawyers and they've got health insurance programs and they've got financial planners that you can talk to, and they've got, you know, just things like that. And, you know, I mean, ESTA did it at one point where they had safety and technical protocols and stuff. I don't know that we want to reach that far, but so, you know, there's an idea there. There's a spark of an idea. And 3 weeks ago, there was a spark of an idea that became this thing. And, you know, what you were just saying, Diana, is great. And I think that's exactly what we just kind of did, is we created sort of a national conversation that then broke out into all these regional groups and created regional conversations that turned into what we just witnessed last night.
I think it also...
Well, over 20 years ago, we tried this at the Performance Summit Conference. Morris Lyda and I got together and tried to spearhead this for all of the road personnel so that they would have, number one, health coverage, number two, some sort of financial planning and things like this. And we discovered it's a full-time job. So you've got to have somebody willing to step up and give it a lot of time. And I think maybe the best way to achieve that these days is to get with somebody like one of the top entertainment insurance companies and get them involved, where they've got staff and people who can devote time to this and get it going. Because
Yeah.
that's what it's going to take. It's very complicated. It's a lot more complicated than you think once you start getting into it.
No, completely. But again, you're just more powerful as a large group than you are as a bunch of individuals. That's all.
Yeah, but it's convincing the individuals to change their mindset. I mean, we've hosted town halls. There's been all kinds of Zoom meetings and stuff about, saving and all that. And part of it is, it starts with the person, because half of these guys don't care. They don't want to listen. They don't want to give up $1 to go put it in some bank account or savings or,
Patrick, this has changed though. This COVID, this experience being 6-7 months out of work, people's mindsets are changing. And
Right,
I think
but now they don't have any money to put away.
Understandable. Understandable. And I understand that. None of us have any money. But the thing is, like, they just need to be educated that every paycheck they get, they take $25 and put it into an account. That's all they need.
Believe me, I'm all for it. I think it's great. It's just, we were talking to guys last night about this on the site, and they still haven't figured it out that they need to save, and they don't. There's just.
Okay, guys, let me tell you too. I mean, even in our group of companies, I can tell you 401k participation is very low.
Really?
It's just that the mentality of people is, people don't know or want to save. And I think even though we're willing to match and all this other stuff, I think unless you take it out of their check like a tax, they're not going to do it.
This is going to drastically.
Eric, I don't know that anybody
That's the way
can
America's
save right
been
now.
going for 20 years. That's the rainy days. Rainy days haven't happened like this in a long time, and so people aren't educated to save in that way. So
I'm sorry. What did you say there? I don't know who that was on the phone.
It was Herrick.
It was Herrick. It's just
no, not Herrick. Somebody else.
Eric, this is Randy. What
Oh,
I'm
That's
saying
just-
is,
you can lead a horse to water, but I mean, you can give people every opportunity to save and do the right thing. You can the older gents on a conversation on a call can tell the younger kids, save your shit up because your back is going to be fucked when you're 40, but it doesn't stop people from doing what they're going to do. And if you're
Well, the
living
bottom line
paycheck to paycheck, you're not going to want to take $25 out of it to go into a savings account when you can barely make your rent.
people just aren't able to save right now because they're scrounging for mortgage payments and food and things of that nature. Savings is not even part of the formula currently. I mean, with where everybody is.
I mean, if you have a mortgage, you should be deferring your mortgage right now. Like, it's stupid. It's free money. You can defer it to the end of your loan, no penalties, and then you save that money that you would be paying into a mortgage into your rainy day fund.
Matt, that depends on your bank.
Sure.
Some banks are-
It depends on a lot of things.
And it depends if you have an investment property with renters that decided to just not pay their rent because you can defer it till later. So that's not necessarily an answer either.
Well,
Let's
I'm
go.
saying a homeowner.
Can we go back? Can we go back to the association discussion? Because I think the problem with our industry is we're so fragmented, right? I mean, we sponsor, go on our website, we sponsor like 4 or 5 different organizations, and one's for rental, one's for AV, one's for theater, one's for touring production. It's so fragmented. And then you have lighting associations, you have audio associations, you have video associations. So somehow we need to pull all those together into, I mean, you still need the focus, I think, for each discipline, but I think we need to pull it together somehow where
an umbrella of some sort.
An umbrella, exactly, where we
Entire
all.
idea. That's the entire thought.
Okay. Well, so
Yeah.
glad we thought of it.
No, I mean, I think we talked about this, by the way, probably in April or May.
Yeah.
On one of these calls, and it might have been when Strickland was here. It might not have been, but we talked about this, and the fact is we're unrepresented. And I just lost a major lawsuit, and it wasn't because I didn't have a really good angle in the lawsuit. I was right and they were wrong, but they were better represented than I was, and I lost. And so at the end of the day, it's not about whether you're right or wrong. It's not about whether you're a good person or a bad person or any of those things. When it comes to some of these problems like COVID, for example, it comes down to who can get to the front of the line. And lobbyists get you to the front of the line. Great attorneys get you to the front of the line. A huge, like what we did last night, got us to the front of the line. And, you know, that's what we need to do, I think, as far as representing our industry globally, because globally we're a big friggin' industry. We keep throwing out these numbers.
Well, and let's remember what happened last night. I mean, that cost companies money to do. Okay. It wasn't free pro bono by everybody. I think a lot of company owners put money into their pockets to make last night a success, but that's because they want to get the message out, and they're willing to invest their time and money and effort into what happened yesterday.
Well, it was companies, it was people too. I mean, people, it cost people money.
For sure.
You know, I mean, every single person who was involved last night, it cost them money.
Yeah,
Person,
well, just,
company.
I mean,
It's all relative.
There were so many stories, you know, of people listening to texts and LDs and you know, they just, everybody has the same struggle. You know, it's just, how do we get past this? How do we move forward?
Here's the thing: we can't let the momentum of yesterday die this week. I mean, something's got to be done soon for follow-up so that it stays fresh in people's minds, because humans forget real fast.
Yeah. So Randy, you know, just to give you guys a very, very quick snapshot. So we had a meeting earlier, and we have a very good plan in place that keeps us in contact with, you know, remember our first goal here was to, you know, poke a stick into the belly of the federal government, Congress people, senators, and get this bill passed. And so that's still our goal. So we've probably got about another week to really get our message across and yell at these people. And so we've got a plan in place that every day we're firing off hundreds of letters to these people with pictures of things that happened yesterday, with very specific stories, very specific information. And one thing I can tell you is, you know, as of yesterday, we have a voice with these people. So this whole Red Alert Restart thing, everyone in government knows that it happened. They know why it happened. They know what we're trying to do, etc. So, I mean, it's, you know.
Yeah, but you said the magic word, government.
Well,
and they forget quicker than anyone. They have got to be constantly prodded and reminded.
Yeah, well, so every day. I mean, that's a pretty good prodding schedule, I would say. So, you know, at this point, there's going to be a vote on putting a package together to save small businesses, to help people extend unemployment. That's all happening over the next week. And, you know, so our push continues for that. If that went away tomorrow, I don't think we need to push for anything right now. So then we start looking at, okay, what's this platform we created along with Gary and Steve in the UK? And what can we do with it? You know, is there anything valuable we can do with it? If there's not, I'm just going to go back to my regular life, because believe me, I'd much rather do that. I want to make money. You know, at the end of the day, we all want to make some money. That's probably a good thing. But if there's something that we can do with this platform we've created and everyone has the energy to do it, then let's continue doing it. If it's going to move the sticks, you know? So, but I think there's, you know, just to put closure on this topic, I think there's an opportunity and probably a need for a global platform that is an association that doesn't have a trade show, that doesn't try to get you to pay into some, you know, crazy thing or whatever. It's just a very simple governing association that provides benefits to its members. And at some point over the next 10 or 15 years, it'll probably grow big and charge us way too much money and have trade shows and sell us t-shirts and everything else. And then we'll just move on to the next thing, right? So
real quick, just along that line of teaming up, I'm looking at the screen right now, and just in the few squares that I see right in front of me, there's Andrew Gumper, Patrick Dearson, Nook Schnofield, Patrick Whalen, Christian Jackson. Is anyone on this meeting? Is anyone an AV company? Are there any audio people here?
I hope
seems
not.
like
If not,
we're
they need to
missing-
get out.
Sounds like a hard
Hell
no.
no.
Yeah, well, but that's if we're going to do an organization like this and we're going to speak for the entertainment industry, I think we need to invite.
No, normally there are 8 or 10 audio people on here.
Yeah, we've had,
Okay.
we've had a lot of audio guys on here over the
Yeah.
time. But you know,
It just
hey,
seems like there needs to be, it seems like this has all been lighting driven, which is great. And don't
Well,
get
yeah,
me
but
wrong.
Joe, it's because my background is lighting. Most of my relationships are lighting. Most
Yeah.
of the people who sort of started in this initial Zoom call that we're doing here were lighting. So,
Yeah.
you know, this was nothing more than let's kill a couple hours on a Wednesday afternoon and have a couple drinks and say hi to people, right? And then it became a little more important each time, you know, it
Well,
started.
I'm not necessarily talking about the happy hour. I'm talking about like if you start an organization that's industry wide, you need to bring. I feel like there needs to be more diverse background.
Oh, 100%. No, it's got to be audio, lighting, video.
There's no video guy.
No video. Come on, you can.
No video guys.
Well, that's
Video and
also
lighting
the
are the same
brilliance
thing
of the WeMakeEvents.org is WeMakeEvents isn't lighting specific, and everything's that happened this week isn't necessarily lighting specific, other than it was that craft that has the capability of lighting up buildings. But there's no reason why WeMakeEvents doesn't cover everybody.
Agree.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
I feel like
we've got
it's.
to
I
bring,
feel like
we've got to
it's.
bring more non-lighting people into the leadership roles, because right now it is extremely unbalanced. And I'm
I'm not a lighting person, Joe.
This started 3 weeks ago. I mean, this is barely in its infancy. So what it
Calm
becomes-
down.
Take it down a notch. Here's
Joe,
the
I
nice
gotta-
thing in Seattle.
You Seattle people and your coffee. Jesus
Jeez,
Christ.
I know, right? Here's my third cup. So here's
Joe, you're now tasked with getting 5 audio guys on this call next week.
Yeah. You're our new audio.
Congratulations. Welcome to Open Your Mouth and Do Something.
We had lighting our audio guys on the call for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I'm with Mid America Sound, and Jason, my partner, runs the audio side of things. So he's been here. He's just been quiet because nobody ever asked any audio questions.
That's one. Got one.
Here we go.
Oh, he was here already. That doesn't count. 5 more audio guys.
I'm an unemployed audio guy.
What about we make events but audio guys?
Okay.
Well, that's it. We can't get a third one because then they got a lift, right?
I mean, didn't we
They
talk
can't count
about?
to 3, so.
Didn't we talk about doing because it was suggested in our Discord on WhatsApp that every Tuesday through September, any buildings that could, we'd ask them to re-illuminate. Is that still an ask that we're doing? Or
Jesus. You need to start a different program over there because
it was.
I don't know. Anybody else want to light buildings every Tuesday? I
No,
don't.
I'm not saying like put out lights, but
Yeah, my back hurts enough from last night. Thank you very much.
All right, y'all are quitters. You're all quitters.
And you got too many buildings.
Big mean your back.
Want t-shirts? Forget it. You're not getting any t-shirts.
Oh, damn you. Damn you. So funny about t-shirts. I've seen all kinds of dodgy characters on the internet selling We Make Events t-shirts.
That wasn't us.
Yeah, I was gonna say Patrick.
I got 5 boxes.
Tyler, right there.
Where's your mask?
I wouldn't be bragging about that, Matt.
I got my beautiful shirt on today still.
I'm a merch guy.
I didn't get one.
Tyler, everybody who
We're going to reprint.
shirt is dirty. Or her
None,
shirt.
none of my people got them.
I
Matt
didn't
gave them all.
Gobo to project, much less a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Small one that was like there.
Show off.
Chris, I'll say it at Gobo if you want. I got some extras.
Nice. Send it to me. I'll take it.
Actually,
I'm framing one. I'm
got
framing
a
Gobos.
shirt.
The only red piece of clothing I had was a Manchester United hoodie, which I had to wear last night.
I don't know if this
Yeah, I
is showing.
saw it. Jesus.
Here's the
Patrick.
panty projector.
Representing Mickey.
Is Mickey still here?
Yeah, that's not going to show up. Oh well.
Mickey's gone.
This is the panty slide from the Paramount. It was on the far side.
Oh my
You have to
God.
hold it up so we can see it.
What?
Come on.
Well, you can't.
That's a
It's not going to
tease.
show up.
Joe,
But
turn
it's
off
not.
your background.
Turn your background off.
Well, even with the background off, it just looks like black. You know, it's
It
a
looks
black
like a mirror.
a full color slide for a penny.
Cool.
Oh, it looks great though. Tell you what.
Oh my God, does anybody still own panty projectors? Who owns panty projectors?
Nah, that's what I was wondering.
We got a guy from Simon Clark.
Yeah,
up here.
Simon Clark.
Yeah, it is.
Yup.
Dennis's warehouse.
Good luck finding it, though.
Christian Jackson, do you know what a panty projector is?
Negative.
Negative.
It's like a retarded cyber light.
Retarded cyberlight.
And here I thought you were saying
Retarded cyberlight. That is the funniest thing.
Hey, you know, actually, I don't know if anyone from
Didn't Connor
Portland's here.
Wilson used to use them back in the day?
Yeah, they're kind of outdated. I mean, so I heard a story from Portland that our buddies down at Outlaw strapped a couple of Monets in the back of a pickup truck with a generator. We're running around town shooting down there.
I think Eric Loader wants his lights back.
No, I think they bought them fair and square.
He'll
Yeah,
go back into
I haven't seen
building.
any pictures yet. I heard that. I think that was a popular thing yesterday of people putting lights on trucks and.
Yeah, I know Billy was doing it. So there's got to be some pictures floating around from Portland of that. So
That's like full guerrilla mode.
We had a guerrilla laser crew going through South Florida. Tom Harmon and
us
Laser.
too.
Were doing
Where do you think this is? Totally guerrilla. We
Yeah,
Oh, for
it
real?
was great. It was great.
Oh, that wasn't planned, that laser on the Space Needle? Oh my God, that's hilarious. That is funny.
That's why it was only up for about 20 minutes to capture and then taken down and moved. But
That
our
is
guerrilla
awesome.
team hit, like, everyone in town has got a branded image with the logo in laser alongside everything.
That is awesome. I'm kind of surprised you didn't put like Trump is a dick or something.
Well, I wasn't watching them the whole time. I don't know what happened.
I had to cover up all my fuck Trump gear. I had
There
to
you
put
go.
black tape on all of my gear because everything has fuck Trump all over it.
Yeah.
It's almost a shame that we aren't going to redo this because now people are getting even better ideas of how to steal these shots. Because I know I got shut down on multiple. I got shut down on multiple attempts of people that we reached out to and major production companies and everything else that were gun shy. But you know, there's much better ideas of how to steal this shit that we could have stolen the shot and not gotten, and you know, no one's the wiser.
Yeah.
If we were to do it again, I think there'd be much better ideas of how to do it.
Josh, it's definitely an ask for forgiveness situation.
Well, we had to back off because I had multiple people within a certain mouse company that were threatened of their jobs just for giving away contact information, where we were trying to find out who to talk to about doing things, and they were threatened about their employment and threatened their jobs if we were to keep moving forward. So there's some ugly stories to this that will eventually get brought out, but it's amazing how much got done. But the fact that people were being threatened with their livelihoods over this is.
Joshua, where are you at? I'm sorry.
I'm LA, Orange County.
Wow.
How about Scott's America's Got Talent picture? That was
great.
great. Video. That was awesome. My son and I have watched that show pretty much since he was born. And I showed him that this morning and he's like, Dad, what the hell? You didn't tell me that. And I said, dude, I told you there was a live stream last night starting at 9. And he's like, yeah, but you didn't tell me it was like awesome like this, you know? So it was suddenly like a big deal because the America's Got Talent set was our logos and stuff.
All right, so
We need to book
idea.
some.
How many of you guys have got random live stream studios built out in the back of your warehouse or in whatever location? Not your apartment, Christian. But so my guess is a lot of us have got that, or there's a lot of companies who are on board with this project that probably do. We've now got how many celebrity endorsements from musicians and comedians? So what if we did a national live stream of like a benefit concert type of thing?
Oh God.
You're
going to be the co-chair of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could hate that idea more, Joe.
Don't be a quitter, Matt. Don't be a quitter.
Joe, it's not what I'm saying. It's we are the industry that everyone comes to. It's a Gumper quote. It's we're the industry everyone comes to for a special concert for benefits, but nobody's throwing any benefits for us right now. So it's like,
let's do it.
Do we have to throw our own? I mean,
no. I already told you earlier. I stole that from Dearson.
Well,
Dearson, you got to make your post shareable.
Whatever. I'm
One
just
of the
saying.
problems with sharing things I do those posts on Instagram, and it automatically shares them to Facebook, but it sets them to private automatically. So I have to go back in to Facebook and edit it to make it shareable.
You could just quit being lazy and post it twice.
Hey, it's okay, Boomer. We understand.
Listen,
you have to do it
so
for
hard
ourselves.
to be you.
No one is going to throw us a pity party. We have to throw our own pity party.
Vicky is asking a question in the chat that I think you guys need to respond to because I think it's important. She's asking, how does lighting up buildings that didn't support us really help us? Isn't that sort of...
Well, is Vicky here? Why don't we let Vicky talk?
Hey, everybody. So I disagreed with several of my teammates here in Vegas over this very thing because, in my opinion, it hurts the cause. If those people, don't support us and we force our message onto places that haven't given us their support, that it could actually undermine us.
Oh, you're talking about the guerrilla lighting method.
The guerrilla lighting, because we had actually planned to do that with the Tropicana because we could not find anybody, but we were thinking if every other building on the strip is in red, then let's do the Tropicana as well. But then when doors started closing, the team that I was working with felt in agreement that was actually going to reflect badly on this campaign. So we decided not to do that. And I fought really hard not to do that. And I understand the urge and the desire to get our message out there, but in a way, to me, we can't bully these people into participating. In fact, what we're doing is showing it's a deceptive tactic that I'm not a fan of. And I wanted you to know that's why we didn't do it in Vegas. I talked with Gumper about this very thing a couple of days ago because, Gumper shared with me a couple of ideas that I have reservations about. And I fully support everybody's opinion and everyone's open, to their own, but I don't.
I think there's, both sides are right, both sides are wrong kind of thing, so I think there's sometimes when those types of opportunities make sense and it's fun and it's, whatever.
Well,
and
we
then
could
there's
have
other
done very
times
similar
where
to the Stratosphere, but we chose not to.
Right.
There was nothing that stopped us from going to the Stratosphere, lighting it up in red. I had a laser in, all I needed was somebody at the Strat to return our call. And we were ready to go. We had it ready. The package was ready. And I wouldn't pull the trigger because they don't deserve the credit. They don't deserve to be considered supportive of the cause.
To speak to our guerrilla laser activities in Seattle, every building that we did was already lit red and was supporting us. So I think guerrilla was the laser activity because we couldn't get permission and we couldn't find the right people to sign off on it. So the lasers were guerrilla, but the buildings were in support.
Okay.
Vicky, did you see the photos Herrick posted?
No, I'm sorry. I haven't had a chance to do anything.
No, it's fine. Herrick did some really artistic, beautiful shots of our logo on like the Golden Theater. I forget which one it is that I love, Herrick, that we're talking.
It's a lot of Broadway. Basically, sorry, Matt.
Go ahead.
I had the same thoughts, but we knew that from our point of view in New York, it was obviously Broadway is super dark. We had some feedback from the Broadway League that of course we want to help, but we can't. The theaters are locked, and then union and this and that and the other thing. But as we found, we walked around with four of us and a gobo cannon, and we took what I think are very lonely, dark shots as opposed to all of your beautiful red buildings that are vibrant and alive. I have some photos that are like, this is how dark Broadway is. Like, we've got a gobo on the side of a dark wall next to a dark marquee. And everybody in the country can say, oh, there are no Broadway shows. Isn't that too bad? But when you see that literally the lights of Broadway are off, and the streets are dark, I think it sends that message. And I at least in this instance, and I don't disagree with your point of view. In this instance, I think it was powerful, and I certainly haven't heard any pushback from anybody. And I posted like 20 marquees, and a lot of the Broadway community have already seen it.
There were no negatives, Eric. You got a lot of
That's
positive.
a very tasteful way of handling that, and that was the reason for the concept behind the trust trucks that my team put into place.
They're amazing.
Because I literally wanted those trucks to drive down the strip with the backdrop of these buildings not lit in red. That's the message I wanted to send. None of these casinos took a chance except for the Plaza and the Ahern. The Ahern doesn't even get credit in any media because of the bullshit that they pulled with the evangelists for Trump convention. So, to the world doesn't think of the Plaza as Las Vegas, but the Plaza was the only casino. And so therefore I put 110% of effort on the Smith Center and the Plaza because they were the ones that deserved the recognition.
Vicky, look at the chat, the picture I sent. That's what Herrick was doing, and it's beautiful.
No, like I said, I don't disagree. I think the approach, that is a tasteful approach. I just wanted to share that opinion because we chose not to do that but for the reasons that I expressed, and I just wanted to share that.
No, I don't think there's a right or wrong in that one. I think, there's a situation where it's good, there's a situation where it's bad. And, I think a bigger point, and not to make yours disappear, Vicky, but for me, a bigger point is WTF Las Vegas. Like, why didn't these buildings, why didn't these properties, these hotels support us?
They quite literally didn't want Black Lives Matter to get on Fremont Street. And that's the honest to God's truth. And I'm sharing that with this group because I had a personal conversation with the VP of Communications and Government Affairs for an hour and a half, having a heart-to-heart with her.
At where?
I shared with Brad in Vegas. The
VP of?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the Las Vegas Valley Convention Authority, the people who.
No, but I mean the CEO of Caesar's Palace, the CEO of Wynn, the manager of this
the government for direction. And she literally told me that if we do it for one cause, we have to do it for all.
Yeah.
And they had
but again, I mean,
that
I
tried
get
to
it.
form at Fremont Street, and they could not give us.
I get all that, Vicky. But to me, other than possibly Broadway, who employs more entertainers, more lighting people, more sound people, more crew people, more stagehands, more whatever?
And these are the passionate pleas that we've made to everybody in this city.
Right.
To participate.
So if I could just finish my point for 1 second, who employs more of those people than Las Vegas? And yet the Las Vegas properties just basically completely turned their backs on us. And so for me, shame on them. Shame on Las Vegas.
I agree.
You did an amazing job, by the way. You and your team in Vegas did an incredible job despite all those properties.
Well, thank you. And that was the point I was trying to make yesterday, is that, we created an event with nothing but pure grit and determination to make sure that we had an event in spite of the fact that the casinos said, screw you.
Yeah.
You're on your own. We laid you off. Now go find other work.
Yeah.
And that was the message that I so desperately wanted to get across yesterday. And I hope everyone understands how passionate I am about making sure that the people on my team that came up with these ideas knew that I was fighting for them to get the recognition they deserve. And that's all I can really say about that.
Yeah, no, it was all good. It was all good.
The other side of it is the idea of the event from last night was to get this in front of congressmen and to get this in front of the House of the representatives and everybody else. This was a one-night event of getting this in front of. So while I completely appreciate and understand where you're coming from, Vicky, I'm kind of okay with people stealing those shots, because at the end of the day, it's a single 20-minute picture, if anything, that's just going to get put into a collage to show congressmen we're fucking sick and tired of being 14, 15 million people in this country as an industry that's out of fucking work. So while I completely understand, I just don't have any tolerance for a building that chose to not be part of it
in Las
We're
Vegas.
going to let you be part of it no matter whether you like it or not, because our congressmen need to see that we care. And at the end of the day, we're going to do what we're like as an industry, we're going to do what we need to do to survive.